laugh. I may live thousands of miles away from you, but I still know your pain. It was a throwaway line, but one rich with meaning. Modi had originally been scheduled to deliver his inaugural US address to Indian Americans at that very venue back in 2005, when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. Shortly before he was scheduled to depart for New York, however, the State Department revoked his visa, citing a little used 1998 law that bars from US soil any foreign official who commits severe violations of religious freedom. 3 years earlier, Modi had been accused of failing to stop deadly sectarian violence in his home state after angry Hindus embarked on a bloody rampage that killed more than 1,000 people, most of them Muslim, in retaliation for a lethal Muslim attack on a train carrying Hindu pilgrims. Although Indian investigators had cleared Modi of all charges, George W. Bush let the visa ban stand, turning the man who would become Prime Minister into a virtual American outlaw. In effect, Modi had fallen victim to the aggressive outreach of activists in both countries. American legislators targeted the right of center Hindu politician after opponents of the 1998 law, known as the International Religious Freedom Act, criticized its Judeo Christian bias. Indeed, Congress had concocted it in part to combat the persecution of Christians in undemocratic countries like China and Sudan. So, when Hindu Muslim riots broke out in Gujarat a few years later, proponents of the act seized the opportunity to prove they weren't concerned only with Christians. In an unusual public hearing, witnesses to the Gujarat violence testified before lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Their fury and fear coalesced around Modi, whom Washington appropriated as the perfect test case for the new law. To date, he remains the only person ever denied a US visa under this act. Even so, Modi's treatment in America was largely a reflection of his treatment at home, where a coterie of his most virulent critics, mainly secular intellectuals and Muslims, latched on to the Gujarat riots as the apotheosis of all his evil. With unyielding conviction, they argued that Modi had allowed, condoned, cheered on, helped plan, or even masterminded the attacks. They conveniently disregarded his appeal for calm. Violating the law and venting your anger by indulging in riots cannot be tolerated in any civilized society. Modi told his constituents immediately after the riots, "It is my request to you, tit for tat is not a solution. Hatred is never won over by hatred. Let us serve Gujarat by maintaining peace and self-restraint. Let us strengthen the arm of law." Relentlessly repeated, the accusations against him refused to die. But no clear evidence ever emerged to prove Modi complicit. A Supreme Court appointed special investigation team has repeatedly acquitted Modi of all charges filed against him over the years, including criminal conspiracy, mass murder, arson, and tampering with evidence. When a local Gujarat court rejected yet another petition challenging his acquittal in 2013, a relieved Modi offered a rare and candid reflection on the riots. "I was shaken to the core. Grief, sadness, misery, pain, anguish, agony. Mere words could not capture the absolute emptiness one felt on witnessing such inhumanity," he wrote on his blog. "As if all the suffering was not enough, I was also accused of the death and misery of my own loved ones, my Gujarati brothers and sisters. Can you imagine the inner turmoil and shock of being blamed for the very events that have shattered you?" However, those events affected him personally. They had little bearing on his political prospects. In fact, his reaction to the relentless maligning only seemed to bolster his